He created a Clash Royale World Cup, and Clash Royale made 9 official teams, but they didn't answer the most important question. If they really faced each other, who would be the Clash Royale World Champion? Divide the 9 teams into 3 groups where each team will fight in a 5 versus 5. The rules are simple. The team that destroys the King's Tower wins the match and gets 3 points if no one destroys it. It's a tie and each team will get 1 point, and if 2 teams end up with the same number of points, the damage they've done to towers will determine who qualifies. So the participating teams are the dark ones because, well, they're all that color, the Outlaws. A team full of cards related to crime, theft, and drugs, the Vikings, which brings together all the cards that seem to be from the northern part of Europe. The Workers, because here everyone has a job, they're not like me. The Sorcerers, because apparently the Wizards and Witches teamed up to win the World Cup. The Royals, which originally has 2 tower troops, so I'll replace one with the Prince. The Skeletons also made their own team, which we call the Undead, just like the Goblins who have their own Goblin team. And finally, the Air Troops, the only team that can fly. I don't know why the Pig Buddies are there, so comment below who you think will be the champion. Let the World Cup of Losers begin! The Clash Royale World Cup, I started by drawing the 3 groups with the help of an AI, which gave me the following 3 groups. Group A was made up of the Vikings, the Air Troops, and the Dark Ones. Literally, according to the AI, this would be the group of death, and I totally agree. Group B made up of the Royals, the Goblins, and the Hard Workers, and Group C, which in my opinion is the most balanced, including the Outlaws, the Sorcerers, and the Undead. The first place from each group plus the best runner-up would advance to the final stage. Group A's first match day features the Vikings versus the Airborne. I'll narrate it. If you don't like it, too bad. Honestly, this is one of the most interesting World Cup matches. And I'm not joking because the Vikings have a lot of ground damage. Literally, all their troops walk while the Airborne are flying. And that creates a kind of weird situation where the first one to reach the tower can win the match. Although the Airborne appear to have the upper hand as the sole defenders, those baby dragons, minions, and phoenixes basically act like whatever they can't see doesn't exist. And they lose this battle, making the Vikings the first team to get 3 points in this World Cup. The second match of day 1 was Group B, and it was the Royals versus the Viking Goblins. Literally, in this battle, we have 2 opposite sides. The dark side of Clash Royale, the side of vandalism, the side of the Goblins against the Royals. The pure, clean, and neat version of Clash Royale. Goblins have it tough because they must destroy a tower before reaching the King's Tower, giving Royals a big advantage and causing Goblins to lose out. Literally, a prince with a lot of health. Although it seems like he's not going to destroy the King's Tower, he can deal a lot of damage, which could help them in future tiebreakers. So in this match, each team gets 1 point. The third match of day 1 features the Wizards against the Outlaws from Group C. It's a mystery how the Wizards will perform in this World Cup. Although they have strong crowd control, they're weak and easily defeated if the enemy reaches them. The Bandits also shouldn't hang back since they have range cards with strong area damage. I mean, it's pretty even, I think, but the Wizards are dominating. They're cooking the little bandits alive as they fall one by one. And even though they don't have physical protection, the Witch summons skeletons and the Mother Witch summons pigs. That does give them a certain amount of physical immunity, and they completely wipe them out, plus the witches who provide some physical protection. The Ice Wizard and Electro Wizard offer crowd control by slowing and resetting opponents. This team is simply a spectacle, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go really far. In Group A, the Vikings are leading. In Group B, the points were split, but the Royals take first place because the damage they did to the tower breaks the tie with the Goblins. And in Group C, the Wizards are comfortably in the lead. Match day 2 starts with a clash between 2 of the strongest teams in this World Cup. The Airborne, who just suffered a crushing defeat against the Vikings, and the Dark Ones, who haven't debuted yet but have an extremely strong team. Okay, we're in one of the most interesting matches you can get in this group stage. Honestly, I have no idea what's gonna happen because it pits a team coming off a crushing loss. Yeah, but they have good air damage. Well, not that much, but they can still make things difficult. The Dark team. And honestly, they don't have enough damage to even take down the Golem, and the whole Dark team slips through to destroy the central tower. I thought it was going to be more even. I mean, the Hound barely did any damage, so since they didn't score any points in their 2 matches, the Airborne team is eliminated from this World Cup. The Goblins are almost obligated to win, or at least tie, because if they lose, they're practically out of this World Cup since they've only got 1 point and 0 damage dealt. Meanwhile, the Workers are quite defensive thanks to their strong Miner, Executioner, and Fisherman. And it's a pretty interesting match between a very defensive team and a pretty really aggressive one, which so far the workers are winning, and now they have an executioner and a fisherman. Going straight to the central tower, Royal Chef just cooked a delicious pancake so that the executioner has more damage and more health, and they deal a lot of damage to that central tower. They won't get all 3 points without destroying the king's tower, but they still deal enough damage to avoid a bad position in the final match. It's Group C's turn, and here we have the matchup between the Wizards and the Undead. The Wizards, who weren't trusted much, ended up sweeping in the previous match, and therefore if they win this one, they'll be the first team to qualify for the next round. So the Wizards start off with their long-range damage, pretty annoying, but watch out because the bomb from that giant skeleton will make this match end in a draw. Yes, incredible! So match day 2 is over, and that's how the groups stand before the last match. So let's move on to the final round that will decide everything. I don't know why I sound like an idiot, but this will decide who moves to the next stage. And in the last match of Group A, we have the Dark Ones against the Vikings, and we'll see who will be the leader and qualify directly for the next stage. Bam! How are the Dark Ones dominating like this? What a completely overpowered team, because, well, they were made by the developers themselves, but it's incredible how they crushed them. Throughout all the group stages, they had a perfect score and perfect damage, and they move on as the next team to qualify for the next stage. In Group B, it's also being decided who will qualify for the next stage, and we have the most defensive, most boring match of this World Championship because both teams are very defensive. Obviously, I think they're gonna tie. I hope they surprise me, but they won't. Come on, workers, damn it. Come on, workers, damn it. They're crushing the royalty, who I really don't like. Let's go. I never liked the princess or the prince. Actually, that's not true. The princess is my girlfriend. I don't know what I'm saying. And I think they'll get close to doing a bit of damage to the king's tower, so the royalty wins by damage tiebreaker. It's the team that qualifies for the next phase of Group B. Now it's time to decide the last matchup. The bandits against the narcos. No, just kidding. Against the skeletons. Okay, the skeletons are disappointing me quite a bit. They're just doing their job well because the giant skeleton always wipes out the troops with its bomb. Come on! Brutal! And I think the same thing is going to happen here. The skeleton team is perfect for making ties left and right. And that's how the group stage of this World Cup ends moving forward. The Dark Ones, the Royalty, the Sorcerers, and the Vikings as the best runner-up move on to the next phase. The first semifinal is Royalty versus the Dark Ones, since the Dark Ones are the team that scored the most points in this group stage, and Royalty, well, the one that scored the least. So we have the most offensive team, and on paper, the top candidate to win the title, against Royalty. Poor guys, because they're gonna get destroyed, and that's literally happening right now, and the Dark Ones are steamrolling the defense, which seemed really strong on Royalty's side. They're the first team to destroy their crown tower and advance to the King's Tower without anyone, literally no one, stopping them. And they qualify for the Clash Royale World Cup final. In the other semi-final, we have the surprise team, the Sorcerers, against the Vikings, two very strong teams. But I think the Sorcerers have a big advantage in this match because they have good area damage. And the Vikings are known for being a team with a lot of medium troops, not weak, but not very strong either. And that literally makes them get wiped off the face of this game by the Sorcerers, who will be the team to face the Dark Ones in the Clash Royale World Cup final. Thanks for watching. So we have the World Cup final. The Dark Ones versus the Sorcerers, the favorite team against the surprise of the World Cup. Honestly, I have no idea who could win this match because the Dark Ones have good damage, but the Sorcerers have excellent crowd control, which is what got them to the final. So the Sorcerers stand their ground, casting their spells, which they're going to use the most against the Dark Ones. And they're sweeping them. No, they're literally sweeping them. They didn't even touch them. I mean, that half Mega Knight was literally swept away. Literally, he disappeared before he could even touch them, right? The World Cup final, which seemed very close. Are the Sorcerers going to end up taking it? It's incredible that they are the world champions, the official Clash Royale World Cup champions.